This video was created by VinylicPuma of VinylicPumaGaming.
So just like all of Fallout 4's previous campaign DLC, Nuka World added a bunch of new non-unique weapons along with a bunch of new unique weapons that have legendary weapon effects. Now, typically I don't discuss a lot of the new unique weapons that get added with each DLC because most of them are just regular guns with legendary effects, and I feel it's kind of redundant. But I figured that some of these would be pretty interesting to talk about today regardless. So without further ado, these will be the top 10 best unique guns and weapons from Fallout 4's Nuka World DLC, starting now. Number 10, the Acid Soaker. Unlike most of the unique weapons that have been getting added with the DLCs, the Acid Soaker has a weapon model that appears to be based on random pieces taken from the Deliverer Pistol and the Vanilla Combat Rifle. This weapon shoots corrosive projectiles that deal damage over time via poison damage, and the projectile also reduces the target's damage resistance. This debuff appears to last about 5 seconds or so not only are you dealing a little bit of damage over time, but you're also making enemies more susceptible to other forms of damage. This is an entirely new weapon that got added with the Nuka World, and as such, it does use its own ammo in the form of acid concentrate. Unfortunately, this ammo is extremely expensive for the player to craft, and it might be wise for the player to simply save the resources to use in something else. It's too bad really, because I think that the Acid Soaker does have some potential. If you're curious about this gun, you can always get an Acid Soaker for 6,250 Nuka tickets from the Nukacade. Number 9, the Paddle Ball. So just like the Acid Soaker, this is another weapon that's hampered by the fact that it's difficult to obtain ammo for it. While the price of the Paddle Ball itself isn't that bad, since it costs like 500 Nuka tickets at the Nukacade, the paddle string ammo on the other hand is 50 Nuka tickets per string, and only 1 or 2 of them can be found every couple of days or so. Now, not only is this price somewhat high, but the rate at which you can obtain ammo is impractical unless you have a cheat character where you're using console commands. This is a shame because the Paddle Ball is decent. Like some of the other unique weapons from Nuka World, the Paddle Ball can be enhanced with the weaponized Nuka Cola that you get from Project Cobalt. The weaponized Nuka Cola variants are actually pretty good, as they deal a flat amount of damage, which seems to ignore damage resistance. So the Nuka Cola version deals 10 damage, the Nuka Cherry version deals 25 damage, and the Nuka Quantum version deals 50 damage. And of all of the upgrades, the Quantum version is going to be the best way to go because paddle string is so rare. Number 8, Hub's Alien Blaster. So this weapon is an alien blaster pistol with the Lucky legendary weapon effect. For those of you that don't know, the Lucky effect allows critical shots to deal double damage, and you also get the critical hit meter to recharge 15% faster. This is actually a pretty good legendary weapon effect on what I would consider to be a decent to even mediocre energy pistol. I think in the long term, you're going to actually get better results with the Righteous Authority laser pistol or rifle that you can get from the vanilla game. This is for a variety of reasons. The first is that the alien blaster pistol fires slow-moving projectiles when compared to a laser pistol or rifle. The second is that the regular laser pistol can be upgraded to surpass the damage potential of the alien blaster. And the third thing is that yes, while you can convert the alien blaster to use fusion cells, the stock ammo for this weapon is really too rare to make it even viable. You can get this weapon as a quest reward from completing the Trip to the Stars side quest mission, but again, you might be better off with the Righteous Authority. Number 7, the Nuka Nuke Launcher. So I'm probably cheating with this one since the Nuka Nuke Launcher is really just an upgrade for the standard Fat Man, but the advantage of the Nuka Nuke Launcher is that it's a weapon customization and you could feasibly apply it to your big boy launcher that you got from Arturo in vanilla Fallout 4. Or if you found a legendary effect variant of the regular Fat Man, you could just plop this unique customization on to that Fat Man. In terms of damage, the Nuka Nuke Launcher is superior to the regular Fat Man. You deal 225 more damage per shot than you would normally, and another nice perk of the Nuka Nuke Launcher is that as long as you have mini nukes and Nuka-Cola Quantum, you can craft a bunch of Nuka Nuke ammo. One Nuka Nuke requires one mini nuke and one Quantum beverage. However, just like the mini nukes from vanilla, Nuka Nukes are way too heavy to be viable in survival mode. But if you're still curious, this weapon can be acquired if you kill Bradberton at the very end of Sierra Petravita's side quests involving those hidden Cappies called Cappy in a Haystack. Number 6, the Sword of Wonders. This is a Chinese officer sword with the penetrating legendary weapon effect. The penetrating effect ignores 30% of the target's damage and energy resistance. And I'm going to venture and say that while this isn't the best melee weapon from the Nuka World DLC, it's actually pretty decent for what it is. Without a doubt, one of the major advantages it has going for it is that it is based off the Chinese officer sword, which is the best medium attack speed melee weapon in Fallout 4. The penetrating effect does complement the Chinese officer sword's upgrade path, which allows it to deal melee and energy type damage. And for this reason, I would say the Sword of Wonders is better than the General Chao's Revenge from the vanilla game, mostly just because it's more versatile up against a wider amount of enemies and is not just good against robots. To acquire this, you'll need to either pass a speech check or give Oswald the outrageous Rachel's holotape. This should be done during the Grand Tour quest for Nuka World, and Oswald can be found at the Kitty Kingdom. Number 5, Cito's Shiny Slugger. The Shiny Slugger is a rocket baseball bat that contains the Relentless legendary weapon effect. The Relentless effect restores the player's action points upon scoring a critical hit, and in case you're curious, you can find the same legendary weapon effect on Kellogg's pistol upon killing Kellogg in vanilla Fallout 4. Honestly, guys, there isn't really anything particularly special about this baseball bat. What I will say is nice about it is that it comes with the rocket mod for bats pre-installed, and rocket bats in general have really good damage for slow attack speed melee weapons. That said, any baseball bat can be modified into a rocket bat, and you might actually be getting better results from modifying something like the Fence Buster from the Far Harbor DLC or the 2076 World Series bat from Vanilla. You can get this bat by helping Cito and his family in the Safari Adventure Park at Nuka World. You can't defeat or kill them, however, or you don't get it. Number 4, the Throat Slicer. Now, the Throat Slicer is a Disciple Blade with the Wounding legendary weapon effect. The Wounding effect makes it so targets bleed for 25 points of additional damage, and the effect does stack with multiple hits. What I will say is nice about this weapon is that it has one of the best legendary weapon effects in Fallout 4, and it also is a variant of one of the strongest non-unique fast attack speed melee weapons in Fallout 4, which is called the Disciple Blade. Provided your strength, special stat, and big leagues perk is high enough, it's possible to get this melee weapon to hit like a truck. That said, it's limited up against enemies with a lot of armor, so it's bad against Mirelurks or Nuka Lurks, because most of your attacks with the Throat Slicer will just bounce off of those types of enemies. However, this weapon is phenomenal up against humans. Now, the Throat Slicer is easy to acquire since you can simply buy it from Caitlin Alden in the Nuka Town Market. You can also buy some other good weapons there as well. Number 3, the Thirst Zapper. So this weapon can actually be acquired as soon as you start Nuka World. However, when you initially acquire it, you can only fire water out of this thing, which deals no damage. However, once you've beaten Nuka World by completing either Power Play or Open Season, and you've reactivated the Nuka World Power Plant, you can discover Project Cobalt in Nuka World's World of Refreshment Park. Project Cobalt contains the schematics that allow you to craft weaponized Nuka-Cola. Now, you can make 3 different upgrades for the Thirst Zapper, one that uses regular Nuka-Cola, one that uses Nuka Cherry, or one that uses Nuka Quantum. Each new version is more powerful than the previous. The fully upgraded Quantum version is extremely good. Not only is the weapon itself light, but you can carry 40 ammo per pound that each deal about 350 damage before any perks. Think of it as a more practical Fat Man launcher for survival mode. While you have to craft ammo for the Thirst Zapper, it's a really good weapon. Number 2. The Splatter Cannon and Problem Solver. Both of these are essentially the same gun, and both have the Furious legendary weapon effect. The Furious effect increases the player's damage on each consecutive hit. Now, the acquisition of both the Splatter Cannon and the Problem Solver is a little bit different. Between the two, the Splatter Cannon is the easiest to get, but requires a lot of bottle caps. The Problem Solver's acquisition requires the player to pass a speech check with Mason of the pack before he even gives it to you. So I would say if you're going to go for one of these, go for the Splatter Cannon despite its high cost. I think you're ultimately going to find that the Furious effect may work best on automatic weapons and mostly just up against enemies with a lot of health. So something like a Mirelurk Queen or a Behemoth will absolutely get wrecked by one of these weapons. Now, the major advantage of both of these guns is that they have been based off of the handmade rifle, and for those of you that don't know, the handmade rifle is one of Fallout 4's best rifle-type weapons, surpassing even the assault rifle and even the 308 combat rifle. Overall, both of these are good, and I would say that you can't really go wrong with either of them. And finally, number 1, the Eternus. I guess this is Latin for eternity, but the Eternus Gatling laser contains the never-ending legendary weapon effect. For those of you that aren't familiar with what this legendary effect normally does, the never-ending effect merely gives you an infinite magazine size. However, instead of giving you a larger magazine size, what the Eternus does is it provides you with infinite ammo. And in my personal opinion, this effect is really cool and might just make it the best weapon from Nuka World. I think this occurs because of the way the Gatling laser works. Instead of consuming one fusion core per shot, like you would on most other weapons, a single fusion core provides 500 charges or 500 shots. Adding the never-ending effect would infinitely expand the number of charges, thus providing you with infinite ammo. Now, as I've gone over in previous videos, the Gatling laser is one of, if not the best weapons for survival mode, thanks to its good damage and extremely good ammo consumption. And of course, with the Eternus, you have something even better that has no ammo consumption. Now, you can acquire this from the Rogue Knight as a part of the Amoral Combat side quest mission, but you will have to go along the bad path for the Nuka World DLC. Alright guys, so that's going to pretty much wrap up this particular video. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like. Let me know what you think of the Nuka World unique DLC weapons. I think a lot of them are fairly redundant, but the legendary effects on some of these are interesting, particularly on the Eternus, the Splatter Cannon, Problem Solver, and I also like the Throat Slicer as well. But anyway guys, again, take care and I'll see you all next time.